How do you go from earning tens of thousands of dollars each month, building an online brand and entertaining millions of people, to incapable of breaking 2,000 views per video and being lucky to make $100 a month from it? What does the most toxic player in the most toxic online game look like? Well, meet Shaqlone.
I hope you f***ing drop dead, you disgusting subhuman. Why are you alive? Why is the Zoe alive, dude? Can you not find the rope? Why are you alive?
League of Legends, a game that has a reputation for being one of the most toxic, rage-inducing experiences you can imagine.
This guy doesn't want to play with me just so he can play me! Like an actual, no-life piece of king poop garbage. He's dog shit on the floor!
Sick of this f***ing company. The trash! Fix the game! It sucks playing the shit!
Take 5 human players and pit them against 5 other humans. Add in a scoreboard, a competitive ranked ladder meaning losses have real-time consequences to your progression, and the biases of a human believing they are much better at a task than they actually are. This is a progression from the 1v1 era of competitive games like StarCraft, where failure resulted in you only being able to blame yourself, or the video game, or your opponent's strategy that you just couldn't overcome. Now that you have teammates, it's much easier to engage with. You have 4 others who are clearly worse than you, less intelligent, less attractive, and obviously at fault when you don't win. With this, you have the recipe for incredibly unpleasant interactions. Shaqlone not only embodies this experience like none other you'll find on the internet, but also the experience of how a once bright career as a content creator earning potentially millions of dollars can turn into a bitter existence just full of hatred. From grinding out videos on YouTube with massive initial success, refining that formula over the course of years, to being banned by a game developer on over 40 accounts, but still continuing every single day and hating every single moment of it.
The f***ing gameplay itself, the state of this f***ing disgusting f***ing game. I f*** your f***ing fat ugly mom, Riot. You ruined this game.
Shaqlone, as the name would suggest, is a play on the League of Legends character Shaco, the demon jester, whose ultimate ability creates a clone of Shaco, which of course is where the name comes from, a reference as a one-trick pony, a player who exclusively uses a single character out of the roster of hundreds available. Shaqlone was a high-ranked player during the early adoption and growth phase of League of Legends, rising through the ranks to the upper echelon of Challenger in one of the most popular and competitive regions, Europe West. This put him in the top 200, something only a fraction of the population will ever achieve. He was undoubtedly good at the game, perhaps even one of the better Shaco players on the planet, due to the sheer breadth of experience across thousands of games spanning tens of thousands of hours. For this reason, his clips of mastery involving the hero went somewhat viral for the time. During the period of 2013 to 2014, the barrier for entry to get a vast sum of eyeballs on League of Legends YouTube or Twitch content was considerably lower than it is today. Shaqlone, with the early adopters advantage, had the building blocks of everything he would have needed to become super popular. Great gameplay, a highly impressive mechanical grasp of the character, high ranked meaning he had experience and knowledge to impart on his audience, as well as the benefit of featuring in games with the current most popular professional players and the big streamers of the game. All he needed was a personality that was inoffensive, or at least, if offensive, entertaining at the same time. He could then ride this all the way to an extremely lucrative career.
Whatever, I don't give a shit about tickets like that. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Ban me, I don't care. Having brain dead fucking like that. This guy is asking for my address. He's actually asking for my address, son of a bitch. I would stab these guys in the face if I saw them.
Unfortunately for Shaqlone, he didn't have this. Unlike other toxic streamers or content creators, he had none of the charisma or redeeming qualities that made their rage funny and their streams grow as a result. For people like Tyler One, the poster boy of toxicity in League of Legends and another notorious personality within the scene, it actually helped to build his brand. People tuned in not specifically for his gameplay, which of course was at a high level, but to laugh at how out of control he would get. Yeah, he typed bad things to his teammates and thought they all sucked, but so did most people in League of Legends. This is a common mindset in Ranked in the first place, which did give him that relatability factor because this is how people did interact with each other in the game, for better or for worse. The key difference between the two is that Tyler was funny while he was doing it. Riot Games of course didn't agree, so he was permanently banned. In fact, he was given the first ever ID ban, which means if he ever made another account and Riot found out, they'd just ban it even if he wasn't doing those same things on this new account. No matter what though, his audience loved it, and Riot later on reconsidered this decision. In terms of Shaklone, his rage wasn't ever funny. It was spiteful, it was hurtful, it didn't come from entertainment, and it wasn't fun to watch. It was just sad. Even among the League of Legends community that expects a little bit of spice, he wasn't it. Instead, he was building a reputation for being the worst of the worst. The really bad stuff was either being hidden behind a mask, worried if he let it slip that the success would slip with it, or perhaps being in an advantageous position on the road to greater popularity and still currently good at the game. He was less inclined to go fully mask off. Whichever it was, maybe a bit from column A and a bit from column B, it didn't remain this way for long. During his growth period, whether he knew it or not, whether it was intentional, he was doing things right. He was focusing mostly on his strengths, highlight clips, informative videos, tutorials, and generally funny or impressive montages. For around 3 years it was a constant upward trajectory, going from strength to strength. Tens of thousands of views per video quickly turned to hundreds of thousands, but even at this time, Shaklone could be seen justifying his toxicity in the game in still listed YouTube videos.
Starts with 20 with a few, and then you keep getting more when people keep reporting you. I don't think I deserved 5,000 chat restrictions and stuff. I tried to talk to Riot, but they keep denying it. Why don't you show me the chat logs? Why don't you show me the chat logs of my games and prove me that I'm toxic, that I'm flaming? Because I don't.
It's almost as if he wanted people to tell him, yes, it's okay to behave this way. Despite this, things continued to rise for Shaklone over 2015 and 2016. He was hitting his peak of ranked performance, and his videos were now regularly hitting 200,000 to 600,000 views each. He used this momentum to propel his Twitch career, with an average of 500 concurrent viewers for the month of November 2016. Things were going great.
I mean, what's gonna happen? Is it just gonna pop out randomly when the countdown is down, and then just, oh, challenger, boom, in your face, just like that? Okay.
This was probably the happiest anyone ever saw Shaklone in 9 years of videos and streams, reaching the peak of his game, the pinnacle of what he'd been working towards for over 5 years. But the good times were not meant to last. Very soon, Riot Games took their first ever permanent action against Shaklone. This came in the form of a permanent ban for his main account. The account he'd been working on for many years, spent thousands of hours playing, the one he reached the highest ranks possible. He of course found out about this ban live on stream, and to say he didn't take it well is a bit of an understatement.
Okay, you wanna play that game, Riot? You wanna play that game? We're just gonna keep buying accounts, and we're just gonna keep ending idiots who deserve it. Yeah, we can get them all permaban. Suck my fucking dick, Riot Games. Suck my fucking dick.
Shaklone thought at this time that the best way to display to Riot Games that he was in fact not toxic and didn't deserve to be banned, and that they'd made a mistake, was to log on to alternate accounts and intentionally lose games, ruining the experience of his teammates, which is partially what got him banned in the first place. He did this live on stream for 5 hours straight, joining game after game and running into the enemy team over and over until the game ended and his team lost. He did this on accounts he purchased, which is also a bannable offense in the game, displaying this fact and of course more toxicity the whole time. He then took to social media to tell people that Riot banned him on his original account for no reason, because he was not toxic. He had in fact done nothing wrong. These are apparently the actions of somebody who is wrongfully accused. This of course becomes a running theme with Shaqlone. He believes that Riot Games banned him because they had a bias toward him, that they unfairly targeted him for things he never did. Of course, it was all disproven when people found the replay file of the game he was originally banned for, the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. This game, in which he claimed to do nothing wrong and just played badly, showed that after playing badly, he went AFK, and he left his teammates to play 4 versus 5 for the remainder of the game. He was still there the whole time, of course, moving around, just letting people know that he would in fact rather lose than actually try, which was something he regularly did. Of course, he couldn't flame his teammates anymore because he'd been chat restricted, meaning they'd forcefully removed the ability to interact with anyone in the game for over 1,000 games. He'd been warned about all these things with some frequency for over 2 years by this stage, but he seemed incapable or just unwilling to stop. He defended this, stating that if his teammates are bad, he should be allowed to give up and ruin their chances to win, because they ruined his chances to win by not performing as well as he wanted them to. They don't deserve him to play the game. After this, his career started a tailspin. Previously, people who had seen his streams or been unfortunate enough to be in a game with him were the ones who had a decision to make about his behaviour. They could either resonate with the toxic mentality and side with him, or make a decision to avoid his content like the plague after seeing the types of things he would do or say.
Brain damaged, imbecile. You fucking retard, dude. You fucking brain rotten fucking imbecile, man. Is a fucking subhuman. There's no better fitting word for these fucking players. Death threats? It's not death threats. It's my deepest wish for people like this Maokai, Trinimer, and Zoe, dude. It's my deepest wish that these people die as soon as possible. It's a deep desire. His brain is literally all the way fucking eaten up, dude. Subhuman.
But after the ban, seeing what he did in response, the social media back and forth within the community, he'd started to poison the well for prospective viewers. The pool for people who would be watching YouTube or Twitch for a game like League of Legends invariably crosses over with other social media. If you search Shaqlone's name, you would find no shortage of people discussing why he's a bad person, why nobody should watch him, and what he'd done wrong. Where before all this, you would find people praising his innovative and interesting Shaco gameplay at the highest levels. This is what's referred to as the death spiral. There's a limited pool of people who could ever watch your content, and if you poison the well for people who could, and turn away the people who already tried, you will see no growth, which means it's only downhill from here. Despite all of this, he kept streaming, and December of 2016 was still providing good numbers. His YouTube was also still doing well. Maybe he could weather the storm and just ride out the bad publicity. If he made some changes, he'd be fine. It was a permanent ban, but it wasn't an ID ban. He could just make new accounts, stop being toxic, and he'd be okay. After all, he did have die-hard fans, and they were still in his corner, still fighting for him against a wave of newfound and, of course, unjustified hate. This, as you would guess, didn't last for long, and he didn't make any changes. Aside from his career best Twitch viewership of January 2017, from then on, both YouTube and Twitch was in a steady decline. This, for most people, wouldn't be that big of a deal, because on social media as a career, some months are good, some months are bad, and some months are just average. Maybe you'll see stagnation where you get the same sort of viewership for a year, or you have a couple bad months in a row, but then maybe you'll have a couple good months in a row. For Shaqlone though, this wasn't a steady decline into a slightly lower audience for a few months, but a straight decline into the abyss of irrelevance. His YouTube went from peaks of almost 6 million monthly views with averages of 3 million, which were likely netting him tens of thousands of dollars per month in ad revenue, to new peaks of 700,000. This continued month after month, going lower and lower, until by 2019 he was lucky to be receiving more than 200,000 views per month. He was still releasing content, he was still doing things the same way he was before, but he was now getting less views per month from his entire catalogue of old and new releases than a singular video of 2 years earlier. His live viewership was also in the toilet. It's not like he was focusing on one more than the other and it was suffering as a result. He was streaming 2 to 3 times more hours than at his highs, and he was lucky to see 100 concurrent viewers, which is less than a fifth of what it was before. Interestingly, it seems that Shaqlone tried in early 2017, following his obvious decrease in numbers, to private a lot of his older, more toxic videos, maybe trying to show he was capable of change and salvage his career, but ultimately decided to go back on that the very next month, unprivating the videos and continuing down the path of blaming everybody else. From constant growth across a 2-year grind to present day, his social media has seen a loss of 99.5% of audience. And if you thought Shaqlone was toxic when he was popular and trying to be somewhat a good boy to maintain that status, to maintain that growth, well, you can only imagine how bad things got when he reached rock bottom.
Cancer. I spit in your face. So I would so smash in this guy's face, man. I would like, you have no clue, man. I don't even care if that's to your ass or whatever. I just want to punch the guy in the face so bad.
Shaqlone now streams to an echo chamber of around 50 concurrent viewers. His videos are lucky if they break 5,000 views from each, with 20 to 50,000 monthly views total, despite releasing them with consistency and claiming to put more hours than ever into their creation, with editing that he describes as next level.
Like this should easily be 4,000 views by now. They just for the third time deleted views on this fucking video, dude. Like, do you have cancer, YouTube? Do you have fucking cancer, dude? And I'm so impressed and so proud of the quality of my videos recently. Man, the editing just fucking picked on another level, I swear.
So, why does he continue to do what seems like torturing himself? Why does he keep playing a game that he hates? Why does he pretend that he's still as good as he was half a decade ago? Why doesn't he understand that his social media career is over, or at least make a single positive change after years of worse and worse results in every aspect of his online life? Of course, that is what makes Shaqlone interesting as a video topic. Like so many others who have tried to make a career online with social media, it comes down to personality type, the inability to reflect, to look at yourself honestly and understand the most important question: why? Why was I successful? Why did that go away? Why did I not recognize it and change in time? Why do I keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result? Giving yourself honest answers here is key. Instead, he's only spiraled out of control in a subconscious double down on what brought the entire failure to begin with. He, like many others, makes all of his problems external and the fault of everyone but him. He embodied the narcissist's prayer. That didn't happen, and if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it was, that's not a big deal. And if it is, that's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it. Why did Riot Games ban me? Because they're against me for no reason. I didn't do anything wrong. And when I did do things wrong, it's because the people deserved it. They were bad players, so they deserve to be told that their family should die painfully. Why do viewers not watch me anymore? It's because Riot Games have influence to Twitch and YouTube, and they shadow banned me. Why can I not reach Challenger anymore? Because my team are bad, and if I make a mistake, it's small or because I gave up already. Literally nothing is ever his fault. He didn't nosedive his channel, he spent 3 years building with constant month-on-month growth. People did that to him for no reason. Of course, it generally is more difficult for an individual to accept the fact that they are steering the ship of their own destiny for many of the consequences they face as a result of their actions. It's easier to fall into the trap that the system is out to get you, because that removes your personal responsibility and admitting that you're not infallible, that you have problems and there are things you need to work on. But Shaqlone has had access to the last 9 years of his life and he's not analysed it at all. Instead, choosing to create a conspiracy of epic proportions and then repeating it to an echo chamber where people just agree with him or ignore the unhinged rants that he goes on.
Let's see if they deleted the views on the video again. Yep. Oh my god, Riot Games! You did this, Riot Games! You did this. This is your fault, Riot Games. Right, so it's like the same people that work at YouTube are the same people that work at Riot Games, man. This shit is so fucking insane, dude. They delete not just fucking views now, but subs, likes, comments. I don't remember the last time a video of mine got picked up by the algorithm as it used to. Because back then in the earlier days when I was booming, most of the views would come way after the upload through the algorithm pushing the videos up, right? That shit never happens in years. In fucking years, since like 2017, I haven't seen a video properly pick up and gain views, dude.
In this clip, he very almost reaches self-awareness that he hasn't seen a video do well in years, though of course falls into the trap of similar people, the gross gores, the Wings of Redemptions, the Darkside Phils of the world. The people that cannot accept the algorithm is just another word for people. If people don't like what you're doing, if people don't like you, they're not going to click your videos, they're not going to watch your videos, and then they're not going to be pushed to more people because the ones who are being shown the video don't want to watch it. YouTube doesn't know Shaqlone exists or care. They're not out to get him, they're not out to get you, you've been out to get you this entire time. It is a miracle YouTube and Twitch haven't banned his account yet, honestly, which at this point might actually be a good thing for his life if they do. Maybe that would allow him to move on. Perhaps the only reason he slips under the radar is that he's now so small and insignificant that he remains unnoticed. Having said that, he's now stuck, incapable of progressing and guaranteed to continue down the path of ranting to his last remaining diehard fans, who are either as toxic as he is, or there to watch the spiral continue. The question of why he would continue to do this to himself, to spend multiple hours every day committed to participate in something that not only does he not enjoy, but actively makes his life worse, well, the truth is that he's addicted to League of Legends. That's why he never stops, why he plays even though he hates the game. I know this because I was there as well. The only reason I know Shaqlone exists is that during his peak of League of Legends fame, I was also at my peak of League of Legends degeneracy. I was addicted, I played even though I hated it, because I had nothing else to do. I felt that if I stopped, it would be a waste of time being in the top 0.01% of players. I wrongly thought that being so good at the game gave my life value and that people cared. But of course, nobody did, and it didn't. This fact made the video a little bit more interesting for me, because I was in the same ranked games as him. I saw firsthand how toxic he was. It's why watching his stream made me want to visit this topic to begin with. It's tough to watch, honestly, after you've moved on 9 years later, and he's still there, doing the same thing, but he's worse in every regard. His streams are a window into a defeated man.
Good games though, a lot of deserved losses, a lot of deserved brain cancer, a lot of deserved ropes. Like a lot of these people just really desperately need to get a rope from somewhere and just immediately use it.
He participates in the games, complains the whole time, clearly has no fun, and then rounds it off by ranting about this fancy world he's built to insulate his ego from the reality that everything was in his own hands this entire time. Never taking accountability for anything in life or in the game, abusing people, their families, ruining their games, and waiting for Riot to find the time to ban his next account, and then saying they're biased and he's done nothing wrong. It's honestly baffling anyone would sit and watch this man anymore. It's like a pit of despair. He now also struggles to get close to the ranks he achieved previously, while being unable to admit it's all over, still telling people he's challenger, which he isn't.
Like my team has all the low win rates while the enemy team has all the high win rate smurfs, and on top of it, 2 of them each are duo queues. Like the system loves to put duo queue players into a duo queue team, which means 4 players are each duo queue.
He instead creates these systems that he thinks Riot Games have developed that make it impossible for even superior players such as himself from winning their way back to the top, ignoring the fact that high-ranked players often do this without issue, as the skill gap in League of Legends is incredibly pronounced, something he was able to take advantage of himself many years ago, but not now. And I guess we can end it there. That's Shaqlone, the most toxic League of Legends player, 40 or more accounts permanently banned, a dead YouTube channel that he thinks Riot Games employees are influencing to prevent anyone discovering anymore, a dead echo chamber of a Twitch channel that exists as a void to shout his incoherent conspiracy theories into, with only a few distant voices returning in agreement. It's a surprise he isn't banned for how hateful he is on stream each day, likely slipping under the radar of never being discovered by anyone who would care enough to report him. Will he ever change or move on to something else? Unlikely. It's been 6 years and his behaviour has only gotten worse. There seems to be no break for the cycle. Instead, it's likely he continues down this path because when it's never your fault, surely something external will change eventually, right? And when that does, you'll be right back on top. When Riot Games stops sabotaging Shacklone, he'll be back where he belongs. You'll see. You'll all see.
Dude, the thing is, all these dramas and whatever beef and what shit I've been through, right? Like, I could never do this. I could never sit there and be like all formal and calm and peaceful and explain it in detail and be like, yeah guys, this is I could never do that because I just do not give a fuck. You know what I mean?